It's 2025. The Yu-Gi-Oh! Trading card game is composed of scores of complex archetypes. An archetype is a set of cards that all support each other in a particular style of play. For example, the Blue Eyes White Dragon archetype is a set of cards that all support and maintain the summoning of strong Blue Eyes monsters and its ilk, such as Blue Eyes Tyrant Dragon and Blue Eyes Alternative Ultimate White Dragon. You can learn more about this archetype in my previous video about the Blue Eyes archetype. But that was 2023, and it is now 2025. The game continues to evolve. In the two most recent championship series, they were won by players using Fiendsmith, Ryzeal, and Tenpai cards, three modern archetypes that each capitalize on particular modern styles of play. So in 2025, it would make perfect sense to make a video about one of those archetypes, but where would be the fun in that? Instead, we're going to inject some life into a 20-year-old archetype and fix it up so that it can compete in the format of 2025, and that archetype is Dark World. The Dark World archetype consists of a militaristic hierarchy of dark attribute fiend monsters. Introduced in Elemental Energy, which released in 2005, the Dark World archetype saw a lot of robust play at its height. The style of play of the archetype has to do with discarding. When most Dark World monsters are discarded, meaning from the hand to the graveyard, they get to activate their effects, which can be destroying an opponent's card, destroying all of your opponent's spell and trap cards, or even summoning itself to the field. Since initial release back during the Yu-Gi-Oh! GX series, additional support has trickled out, including a new level 12 fusion monster just released last January. Can we build a competitive Dark World deck for 2025? Dueling Nexus, my dueling simulator of choice, has 7 ranks: Bronze, Silver, Gold, Platinum, Diamond, Master, and Top 100. I have never in my career made it to Top 100. I have briefly made it to Master rank, but for the purposes of this video, we are going to get our Dark World deck to the Diamond rank. As usual, you join the story in media res, in the middle of things. I have spent over 3 years working on a competitive Dark World deck. This is what I have so far, and this will be our starting point. My deck consists of 3 Reign-Beaux, Overking of Dark World. When discarded, I can bring forth a level 5 or higher Dark World monster from my deck to my hand. When discarded due to an opponent's card effect, I can not only still bring forth a level 5 or higher Dark World monster, I am also allowed to special summon a level 4 or lower Dark World monster from the deck directly to the field. Additionally, when Reign-Beaux is in the graveyard and I control a Dark World monster, I can return it to my hand to summon Reign-Beaux straight from the graveyard. This is important. 3 Grapha, Dragonlord of Dark World. When discarded, I can destroy an opponent's card. When discarded due to an opponent's card effect, I can randomly look at a card from their hand, and if it is a monster, I can summon it to my field. Additionally, like Reign-Beaux, when Grapha is in the graveyard and I control a Dark World monster, I can return that monster to the hand to summon Grapha from the graveyard. These 2 cards form the backbone of our strategy. Our strategy is to flood the field with powerful and diverse monsters to make sure that our opponent can do as little as possible on their turn. With just these 2 monsters on the field, we can summon 11 different extra deck monsters, including the usual suspects like SP Little Knight, IP Masquerena, and number 38 Hope Harbinger Dragon Titanic Galaxy. But we need many more bodies if we are going to make many more monsters. 2 copies of Sillva, Warlord of Dark World. If you're familiar with the Dark World archetype, you're familiar with Sillva, because Sillva has a particularly nasty effect. When discarded due to a card's effect, Sillva summons itself to the field. Not bad. However, when discarded due to an opponent's card effect, not only does it summon itself, but the opponent is forced to return 2 cards from their hand back to the deck. This is a crazy effect, and when this happens to the opponent, they often surrender. Card advantage plays a huge role in the Yu-Gi-Oh! Trading card game. If I have more cards, I can do more things, and the more varied cards I have, the more varied my strategic options are. By ridding my opponent of 2 cards, I'm potentially and very likely minimizing their ability to defend or attack, depending on whose turn the effect occurs. Of particular note is that Sillva's effect does not hold any kind of once per turn stipulation. Cards in the modern game often must come with a once per turn or sometimes twice per turn restriction. They must come with such a restriction or else the effects would be too broken. That being said, Reign-Beaux, Grapha, Sillva, and most Dark World monsters have no such stipulation, and so we can summon them and run their effects multiple times per turn, which means that if we could make it happen, we could potentially force our opponent to return 4 cards or even 6 cards back to their deck with Sillva's nastier effect. As you no doubt have noticed, each of our Dark World monsters has 2 primary effects, one that activates upon being discarded by card effect, and another, more potent effect, activated upon being discarded by an opponent's card effect. This is important. We're going to have to find a way to get our opponent to force us to discard. Or do we? Enter Grapha, Dragon Overlord of Dark World. A level 10 fusion monster. Grapha, Dragon, Overlord of Darkworld is how we're going to activate our monster's nastier effects. This monster has a particularly unique effect. When a monster effect or a normal spell or trap effect, when we have cards in hand, we can, as a quick effect, activate this effect. The activated effect becomes your opponent discards one card. Unfortunately, we can only activate this effect once per turn, but it is a powerful way for us to interrupt and sabotage the opponent. Not only does their activated effect get functionally negated, we get to activate our nasty monster effects. This is too important. Now, in order to get Grapha and Reign-Beaux on the field, we're going to need some help. 3 copies of Snoww, the Unlight of Darkworld. When discarded by card effect, I can bring forth any Darkworld card from my deck to my hand, not just a monster, but any card. When discarded due to an opponent's card effect, I can also special summon a monster from their graveyard. More bodies on the field, more boots on the ground means we can summon more link monsters like Accesscode Talker, Knightmare Phoenix, or Muckraker from the Underworld, all potentially powerful tools in our toolbox. 3 copies of Genta, the Gateman of Darkworld. By discarding this card from my hand, I bring forth our powerful field spell, the Gates of Darkworld. The Gates of Darkworld not only facilitates discarding, it also facilitates drawing new cards, which helps us maintain and build card advantage. Genta has another effect. When banished while I control another Darkworld card, I can summon him from banished. We very often need this power to get a Darkworld body on the field, so we can get Reign-Beaux and Grapha out of the graveyard. Then we can activate Genta's effect again, once we get it back to our hand. Unfortunately, we may only special summon Genta once per turn, but that's okay. 3 copies of Broww, the Huntsman of Darkworld. Upon being discarded due to card effect, I get to draw 1. Upon being discarded due to an opponent's card effect, I draw 2. Again, drawing new cards, milling through the deck to find the cards we want or need. 3 copies of Tour Guide from the Underworld. Once per turn, upon being normal summoned, I can directly summon a level 3 dark monster from the deck. My only target for this effect is Broww, so they often arrive on the field together. Helpful for getting bodies on the field. 2 copies of Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring. This is the most used card in the game. It negates many powerful effects, and you activate it out of the hand, often during the opponent's turn. By using Ash Blossom to negate our opponent's effect, we limit their ability to successfully play the game. Unsportsmanlike? No, just the reality of the game in 2025. 1 copy of Allure of Darkness. This helps us draw 2, as long as we banish a dark monster. Upstart Goblin. We draw 1 and give our opponent 1,000 life points. 2 Darkworld Dealings. Each player draws 1, each player discards 1. Why are we allocating so much deck space to drawing cards? Drawing cards does a couple of things for us. 1, we gain new options. More cards means we can do more different things. 2, it thins the deck. By thinning the deck, we can more readily find the cards we need when we need them, especially cards like Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring, which we're going to want during the opponent's next turn. Darkworld Dealings has the added benefit of allowing us a discard, so we can use our monster's effects. 3 copies of Dark Corridor. We can bring forth a Darkworld monster to the hand, and then discard 1. Again, good for activating our discard effects. Unfortunately, only once per turn. 1 Called by the Grave. Called by the Grave is our only defense against our opponent using cards out of the hand, such as Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring, among others like Dimension Shifter and Droll and Lockbird. Called by the Grave drags those monsters out of the grave to the banished zone, and cards with that name have their effect negated until the opponent's next turn. 3 Darkworld Accession. This card is how we fusion summon Grapha Dragon Overlord of Darkworld. By using cards from the field, the grave, or the hand, we can summon it. By using monsters from the hand, we get to use their discarded effects during this time as well. We can also summon another fusion monster with this card, Aerial Eater. 1 Darkworld Archives. As long as we control a Darkworld monster, we can choose to discard a Darkworld monster. Darkworld monsters on the field gain attack equal to 100 times the level of the discarded monster. Additionally, when a card is discarded by card effect, I can activate Darkworld Archives in order to discard another card and draw 2. 3 Gates of Darkworld, we spoke of earlier. By banishing a Fiend monster, I can discard 1, and then I get to draw 1. And finally, 2 Infinite Impermanence. This card can negate an opponent's monster effect. It can also do that from the hand, granted I have no cards on the field. Additionally, if activated from face down, any spells or traps in that same column are negated. That is the whole main deck, consisting of 40 cards. Let's take a look at some powerful extra deck monsters. 3 Grapha Dragon Overlord of Darkworld. Grapha Dragon has an additional effect we haven't talked about besides its main effect. When destroyed or removed from the field because of an opponent's card, I can summon a Grapha Lord from banished or the grave, then both players discard 1. Aerial Eater. which when summoned allows me to send one monster from my deck to the graveyard, sometimes necessary for getting Grapha, Lord, or Genta out of the deck. One Divine Arsenal AA-ZEUS Sky Thunder. It clears the board at the cost of 2 materials. It also has an effect to reattach new material. One Super Starslayer TY-PHON Sky Crisis. It can return a monster back to the hand, and also any monster with 3,000 or more attack has its effect negated. Number 38, Hope Harbinger Titanic Galaxy. It negates a spell card and attaches it as material. It also has a combat effect, allowing me to redirect attacks to it. Coach King Giantrainer. Composed of 3 level 8 monsters, it allows me to remove 1 material to draw a card. And if it is a monster, I inflict 800 damage to the opponent. I can do this 3 times because of its 3 materials, but I cannot enter the battle phase during such a turn. Dingirsu, Orcust of the Evening Star. When summoned, I can send a card my opponent controls to the graveyard. Additionally, I can remove material to protect my cards from destruction. Underworld, Goddess of the Closed World. I can use an opponent's monster as material for its link summon, sometimes the only way to get rid of stubborn and well-protected monsters. Additionally, she negates the effects of enemy monsters and also negates effects that summon monsters from the graveyard. Accesscode Talker allows me to banish link monsters to destroy their cards. Knightmare Phoenix destroys spell and trap cards. SP Little Knight banishes cards and monsters from the field. Muckraker from the Underworld allows me to summon a monster from the graveyard and then discard 1. It also allows me, during battle, to redirect attacks to different monsters. Finally, IP Masquerena, which allows me to link summon during the opponent's turn. Now, let's take a look at the deck in action and see how it works. Okay, welcome to the present. This is a duel that took place moments ago. I chose this duel to spotlight in this video, specifically because it shows the kinds of cards played in the game, and it also showcases our deck than the deck that we're talking about. So let's see what happened. Now, normally, I know you can see what the opponent's hand is in this format, but we can't when we actually did the duel. So let's take a look at what happened. I started with Dark Corridor. Dark Corridor allows me to bring forth a Dark World monster from the deck to the hand, and then discard 1. So I bring forth Snoww. I then discard Snoww. Snow's effect activates, which allows me to bring forth a Dark World card, not just monster, but a card, any card, from the deck to the hand. I choose Genta. I activate Genta's effect. Genta's effect is I can discard it to bring forth the Gates of Dark World. I do so. I play the Gates of Dark World. The Gates of Dark World allows me to banish 1 from the graveyard, discard 1, and then draw 1. So I activate it to banish Genta, which I've just done. I discard Reign-Beaux. I activate Genta's effect. Genta has a secondary effect where when it's banished, in the presence of a Dark World card, I can special summon it from banish, which I do. But first, Reign-Beau's effect activates, allows me to bring forth, what did I bring forth? Grapha. I brought forth Grapha Lord. Genta summons itself. I bounce Genta, meaning I return it to the hand so I can summon Reign-Beaux out of the graveyard. I then activate Genta's effect again. Genta's effect allows me to bring forth the Gates of Dark World, which I do right here. I play the Gates of Dark World again. I can play the Gates of Dark World as many times as I please. I only have 3, so I typically end up using it 3 times. So for my second ability of Gates of Dark World, I banish Genta again and discard Snoww, and I draw Reign-Beaux. Snow's effect allows me to bring forth Dark World Accession, because I can bring forth any card. Dark World Accession. I play Dark World Accession to fusion summon Grapha Dragon by discarding Grapha Lord and Broww. Okay, hopefully you're still with me. Grapha Dragon is on the field. Okay. I utilize Grapha's effect in the graveyard to bounce Reign-Beaux back to the hand and summon Grapha Lord from the graveyard. I then activate Dark World Accession's secondary effect to bring it out of the graveyard back to the hand in return for a discard. So I discard Sillva, and Sillva summons itself to the field. Next, I normal summon, Tour Guide from the Underworld, which allows me to summon Broww straight out of the deck, as long as I negate its effect. Okay. I utilize Tour Guide from the Underworld and Grapha Lord to summon Muckraker from the Underworld, which allows me to summon a monster from the graveyard in return for a discard. I choose Snoww and discard Reign-Beaux. I use a Reign-Beau's effect to bring forth another Grapha Lord. I bounce Snoww to summon Reign-Beaux out of the graveyard, and then bounce Broww to summon Grapha Lord out of the graveyard, and then set 2 cards, both copies of Darkworld Accession. It's all I've got. Now I've got 4 juicy targets that I can discard with Grapha's effect to get their nasty effect, to get their double effect. Let's see what happens on the opponent's turn. The opponent first begins with Pressured Planet Wraithsoth, which tells me that they have Kashtira cards in their deck. Pressured Planet Wraithsoth allows them to bring forth a Kashtira monster to the hand. I activate Darkworld Accession in response. It doesn't do anything about that, but I discard Broww and Grapha Lord. They bring forth Kashtira Unicorn. My effects activate. I destroy Pressured Planet Wraithsoth with Grapha's destruction ability. Remember, when we discard it, it can destroy a card on the field. And then Brow's effect allows me to draw. I draw Darkworld Dealings. Kashtira Unicorn can be summoned from the hand without tributing. And so they do so, and then they set a card face down in the field spell zone, which is something you can do. They activate Kashtira Unicorn's effect. I counter with Grapha Dragon's effect, which, remember, changes the effect to be your opponent discards 1 card. So I discard Reign-Beaux. In response to activating Grapha Dragon's effect, they can activate Kashtira Unicorn's effect. Kashtira Unicorn's effect means they can banish one of my extra deck monsters face down. I mistakenly click yes when I shouldn't have. When I discarded Reign-Beaux as how do I explain this? When I discarded Reign-Beaux for Grapha Dragon's effect, I forgot that its secondary effect, its nasty effect, is that it can special summon a monster from my deck to the field. But it does not specify which field. It can be either field. And so when I clicked yes just then, I forgot that I would have to summon a monster to the opponent's field. So I gave them a copy of Broww mistakenly, unfortunately. They're activating Kashtira Unicorn's effect to banish one of my cards face down. They choose Accesscode Talker, at which point they utilize Broww that I gave them, as well as Kashtira Unicorn, to link summon Moon of the Closed Heaven. Moon of the Closed Heaven has an effect where you can target 1 card that it points to, which is one of these 2 cards. And then subsequently, if you were going to link summon a Link 5 monster, the most powerful Link monsters, you can also use that monster. So they target Grapha. They then utilize that card to summon Fiendsmith's Requiem, which is, now we're getting into what the modern game looks like. The modern game looks like Fiendsmith engines plus some other kind of archetype, and that's the game. I told you at the top of this video that the Yu-Gi-Oh! Championship Series was won by people using Fiendsmiths, and so it seems like everybody's using Fiendsmiths right now. Fiendsmiths and Ryzeals, Fiendsmiths and Kashtira, Fiendsmiths and Malice. Okay. Fiendsmith's Requiem. Fiendsmith's Requiem allows them to summon Lacrima the Crimson Tears. Lacrima the Crimson Tears allows them to send Fiendsmith's Engraver to the graveyard, which allows it to summon itself in a roundabout way, summon itself. And I'm just going to let this play out. Fiendsmith's Sequence. Fiendsmith's Desiree. Fiendsmith Desiree allows them to summon Fiendsmith's Agunde, which gets rid of the Gates of Darkworld, and they end up with a 4600 attack point in Fiendsmith's Desiree and Lacrima on the field. Fiendsmith's Desiree has 4600 attack points because it's attached to Fiendsmith's Agunde. So they attack Fiendsmith's Desiree into Grapha Dragon. Grapha Dragon's destroyed. Grapha Dragon's 3rd effect activates, where when it is removed from the field because of an opponent's card, I can summon Grapha Lord out of the graveyard or banish, which I do, and then discard 1, and then force them to discard 1. So I discard Snoww, they discard Kashtira Riseheart. Snow's effect activates, I bring forth another Grapha Lord. They have no other monsters they can attack. Lacrima does not have the attack points to attack any of my monsters. And then they set 1, and then end their turn. I draw Tour Guide from the Underworld. I bounce Sillva to summon Reign-Beaux. And then a bunch of stuff happens all at once. I activate Dark World Accession's effect to try to bring it back to my hand. In response, they activate Fiendsmith's Desiree, which you can negate the effects of number of face-up cards on the field, so they're going to try to do that. In response, I activate Grapha Dragon's effect, and they activate Fiendsmith in Paradise. Target one level 7 or higher light fiend monster you control. Send all cards on the field to the graveyard that are not that monster. Okay. So there they go. I still get to activate the effect of Grapha Dragon, but discarding Grapha Lord, and bringing Dark World Accession back to the hand. Grapha Lords, and then I still have to discard Sillva. All these effects activate in the graveyard. Fiendsmith's Activate summons itself back to the field. Grapha Lord summons itself back to the field. Sillva summons itself back to the field. I was able to destroy Fiendsmith's Desiree with Grapha Lord when it was discarded in the first place. And then I summon, Fiendsmith Desiree summons itself back to the field. I activate another Sillva's effect to summon it to the field. I bounce Sillva for Reign-Beaux, and then bounce Sillva for Reign-Beaux, and then bounce Reign-Beaux for Grapha, and then bounce Reign-Beaux for Grapha. So I have 3 Graphas on the field. Then I normal summon Tour Guide from the Underworld to summon Broww, and then I utilize all those monsters and Fiendsmith's Desiree to summon Underworld Goddess of the Closed World. Underworld Goddess of the Closed World is then targeted by Fiendsmith's Desiree, which returns it back to the extra deck and is destroyed. But before it does that, I activate Dark World Accession to summon Grapha Dragon back to the field. Underworld Goddess of the Closed World is destroyed. I'm able to activate Fiendsmith's Dragon. I activate Dark World Dealings. Dark World Dealings, I summon Infinite... I draw Infinite Impermanence. I discard Sillva. They have to discard whatever they drew. I summon Sillva. I bounce Sillva for Grapha, and then I have enough points to attack all their life points and win. Whew. Okay. Hopefully that was easy enough to follow. Okay. I played 10 more games. I won 5 games and lost 5 games. Let's analyze. As you can see from my notes, the majority of my losses are due to bricking. A brick is a card you can't play. For example, when I play Tour Guide from the Underworld, that's a once per turn card. I can only activate it once per turn. After that, if I draw Tour Guide from the Underworld, I can't do anything with it. It's a brick. So, in normal terms, I keep drawing cards I can't play. Either my opening hand, like this one, where I have too many Reign-Beaux and Grapha and there's just no moves we can make, or I draw cards that I can't do anything with. Our main starters are Tour Guide from the Underworld, Dark Corridor, Genta, and sometimes Dark World Accession and somewhat Dark World Dealings or Upstart Goblin. But our main strategy really requires both Genta and Reign-Beaux. With Genta and Reign-Beaux, we can loop the Gates of Dark World to draw a few cards while also bringing Grapha to the hand. With Reign-Beaux and then using Grapha either for Dark World Accession, which we've hopefully just drawn, or get Grapha to the graveyard so I can bring Reign-Beaux back to the hand. We truly need both Genta and Reign-Beaux. Dark Corridor retrieves Genta. Snoww retrieves Genta. Genta is our key starter. We need to get it more often. So, I added a third Upstart Goblin. This increases our odds of drawing into Dark Corridor or Genta by about 1%. Let me check the math on that. In order to make room, I removed 1 Broww. Let's try another round of tests at this ratio. Alright, I've gone ahead and finished test round 2. 10 more games. As you can see, I've won 7 and lost 3. Okay, it is my belief that if we win one more duel, one more match, we will propel ourselves into the diamond rank. As you can see, here we are. We're platinum at this point. We're going to go rock strategy, rock, scissors. There we go. We're going to go first. This is good news. We're going to use Upstart Goblin. Okay, we're going to play Dark Corridor to bring forth Snoww so we can end up with Reign-Beaux. Remember, our whole strategy hinges on Genta and Reign-Beaux. We're going to activate Genta's effect to bring forth the Gates of Dark World. We're going to play the Gates of Dark World. We're going to banish Genta for Reign-Beaux. We're going to use Reign-Beau's effect and also summon Genta to the field. We're going to bring forth Grapha. We're going to utilize Reign-Beau's effect in the grave to bounce Genta back up to the hand and put down Reign-Beaux from the graveyard. We're going to play Gates of Darkworld again. We're going to activate Genta's effect again to get it back in the grave. We want some meat so we can utilize the Gates of Darkworld to banish something. We'll banish Genta. We'll discard Reign-Beaux again, and that's what we want to see. We want to see Tour Guide from the Underworld. We're going to get another Grapha. We are going to play Tour Guide from the Underworld. And we are going to summon Broww out of the deck. We are going to bounce Broww for Reign-Beaux. We are going to play the last Gates of Darkworld. We're going to banish Snoww. Discard Broww for an extra card. We got Sillva. That's an excellent draw. And we got Ash Blossom. Another excellent draw. Darkworld Accession for Grapha Dragon. Discarding Sillva and Grapha. Okay. We have a situation here. This is a really amazing situation. You should be glad, consider yourself lucky to witness it. We are going to summon Coach King Giantrainer using our 3 level 8 monsters. Coach King Giantrainer is a rare sight. We're going to activate its effect to draw 3 cards. If it's a monster, we inflict 800 points of damage. Okay. We are going to use Darkworld Accession's effect to discard Sillva, bounce Reign-Beaux, or bounce Sillva for Reign-Beaux, and then Reign-Beaux for Grapha. We are going to set both Infinite Impermanences, which are 2 very good sets to have. We also have Ash Blossom in hand. We're going to set Darkworld Accession. We are going to also special summon not IP Masquerena. Yes, IP Masquerena using Grapha and Tour Guide. And then we're going to end our turn, and we're going to see what they do. We have ended on a very good board. At least for our cases. Coach King Giantrainer doesn't do anything, but still not a bad monster to have. Let's see what they do. We've got 1 negate with Grapha. We've got 2 infinite impermanences. We've got 1 Ash Blossom. We've got plenty of things. Okay, this is a Yugioh deck. Their profile picture is Yugioh. Samsara Lotus. We want to play infinite impermanence before Samsara Lotus gets an opportunity to tribute itself. So we have to do it first. Okay, they've summoned a card. They've utilized the effect of a card in the hand. We're going to utilize Grapha. We're going to utilize Grapha because we're going to discard Sillva. And what that's going... Okay, good. Everybody there? Okay, Sillva summons itself from the graveyard and forces them, their nasty effect, forces them to put 2 cards back to the bottom of their deck. Okay. Takes people a while to figure out the audacity of such a move. The audacity of such an effect. Okay. Let's see what they have. See what they have left in the tank. Triple Tactics Talent. We don't like to see that. That's not what we want to see. But we can activate Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring to negate Triple Tactics Talent. One for one. One for one. I don't think I can do anything about that. It's okay. I got a plan. They discard 1 and then summon a level 1 monster. It's going to be Fabled Luri. That seems like an odd choice. I'm going to utilize IP Masquerena's effect to summon Little Knight, SP Little Knight, and utilize SP Little Knight's effect to banish the card they just spent all of that energy putting on the field. Because they wanted to do something. They wanted to Access summon. They wanted to get rid of Samsara Lotus. Battle phase. Samsara Lotus is going to the graveyard. They're utilizing the effect of Gruesome Grave Squirmer. We're going to let that go. To get Samsara Lotus on the field, we're going to do the same thing. Infinite Impermanence. Yes, and they surrender. Okay. Let's not rest on our laurels. Let's get everything we need into our deck now using our side deck powers. We will talk more about siding at another time, but basically I'm substituting cards into my main deck from a side deck. They have disconnected. They have reconnected. They have disconnected. They have disconnected. Okay, we have won. Did that put us over the edge to diamond rank? Yes, it did. Oh, wait, you can't even see that. There's me, diamond rank. Okay, so the question is, can you get a Dark World deck, a pure Dark World deck, to diamond rank in 2025? The answer is yes. Everybody have a good day. All right, for anybody who says that doesn't count, this time for real. Diamond rank. We're going to go second. Okay, looks like we're going to have Elemental Heroes. Polymerization. We do not have a good hand. We have Allure of Darkness, nothing to discard. Dark World Accession, nothing to discard. Dark World Dealings, nothing to do with that. Yeah, this is a terrible hand. I'm tempted to surrender. So what is the lesson here? What is the lesson in our video? The lesson in our video is that even old archetypes can still be viable if you put the right cards together. Now, this Dark World deck is not particularly robust. It loses a lot of the time. It bricks a lot of the time. But it is still quite viable. It's still quite potent, and it can still cause a lot of damage. And I think that it's the best that it can be. I think that the deck that I've made is the best Dark World deck that you can make. I've worked on it for 3 years, and I think, based on my experience and based on the work that I've done, it may be the best deck that it can possibly be. We're going to play Dark World Dealings. They're going to play Mask Change. We're going to play Called by the Grave, except we did not look and see target Vision Hero Vion. Oh, except we did the wrong. I'm going to go ahead and just get rid of Destiny Hero Malicious while we're here, just because. But yeah, I think the point is that your... Oh, we had to banish that. Tour Guide from the Underworld. Ash Blossom. Allure of Darkness. We have no choice. Okay, that's unfortunate. We're going to surrender, go to the next round, and see what we can get done. The lesson is that even 20-year-old archetypes have some capacity for greatness. They have some capacity for finding immense power in the game. There are some cards, there are some archetypes that just can't hack it, but I think there's a lot of power still to be had in older archetypes. And you can always augment it. You don't have to make a pure Dark World deck. A lot of people mix Dark World with Danger cards. I don't know what other synergies there are. Maybe there's a Dark World Fiendsmith deck out there. Tour Guide from the Underworld. Genta. Artifact Lancia. That's not what we want to see. But we can play we can play Dark World Accession first to still get Genta's effect and use Aerial Eater's effect. They've used Artifact Lancia to stop us from banishing cards, which is why we did all that so fast. Infinite Impermanence against Aerial Eater. Genta summons itself, activating Dark World Accession's effect to discard Snoww. We're going to bring forth Reign-Beaux. We're going to play Gates of Dark World. We cannot banish cards. We're going to use Muckraker from the Underworld to discard Reign-Beaux, because what we really need is Grapha. There we go. We're going to bounce Snoww for Reign-Beaux. We're going to set the other Dark World Accession. Why? I'm not sure. Let's see what happens. Let's see what they've got. It's going to be a hero lives. Shouldn't have done that. That was the wrong move just then. But it's okay. We've got Grapha. Now we've got another negate. We can negate one more card now. We're going to use Grapha's effect to destroy Elemental Hero Stratos. Elemental Hero Stratos' effect still activates when it's summoned. And I do not have the time to use Grapha's negation effect. I guess it doesn't work that way. Something happened there. The order of moves there was odd. That's okay. Still have Grapha's negate. Stratos is destroyed. Triple Tactics Thrust. We will use Grapha's effect. We'll summon Elemental Hero Stratos. We'll also bring to the hand Grapha. We summon their Stratos to our side of the field. They play Polymerization, discarding Liquid and Shadow Mist for Elemental Hero Sunrise. You got many effects. Destiny Hero Malicious gets discarded, or Elemental Hero Stratos. Stratos' effect gets to activate, destroying my set Dark World Accession. I couldn't have activated it anyway. Okay, Extra Hero Cross Crusader. Destiny Hero Malicious. Destiny Hero Malicious. Okay, Extra Hero Wonder Driver. Miracle Fusion. We're going to be in trouble. This is trouble. Absolute Zero. Interesting choice. They utilize Extra Hero Wonder Driver. Absolute Zero's effect activates, destroying all of my monsters. Extra Hero Infernal Devicer's effect activates. They're going to add the materials. We're going to activate Grapha Dragon's effect. They're going to have to discard. We're going to destroy Infernal Devicer. They're going to utilize Miracle Fusion for Wake Up Your Elemental Hero. It's got 4,900 attack points. We're in trouble. Okay, we're still alive with 900 points. Let's see what we can do. Let's see if we can do anything. We're going to utilize... Let's see, how do we do this? We're going to begin with Gates of Dark World. We're going to banish Genta for Snoww. Genta back to the field. We're going to utilize Snoww to bring Reign-Beaux to the hand. We're going to bounce Genta for Reign-Beaux, and then subsequently for Grapha. We are going to utilize Dark World Dealings to draw one and discard one to discard one Reign-Beaux. Droll and Lockbird. Don't want to see that. Do not want to see that. We'll use Dark World Accession. Aerial Eater. Grapha Dragon. In defense mode. Do we use SP Little Knight? I think we might be our only option is to use SP Little Knight to banish it. Let's double check and make sure that it can be banished. Gains 300 attack for each material used for its summon. The card can make a number of attacks on monsters each battle phase up to the number of fusion monsters used as material for its summon. After damage calculation, if this card battled a monster, destroy that monster, and if you do inflict damage to your opponent equal to its original attack. If this fusion summon card is destroyed, okay, I think we have to. Little Knight, wake up your elemental hero is banished. We will switch in for Super Starslayer TY-PHON Sky Crisis, and then end our turn. Okay, we're still in this. We're technically in the game. We're going to use Dark World Accession to discard Reign-Beaux, except Reign-Beau's effect can't be utilized. We're going to utilize Aerial Eater. Is that enough points? I believe that's enough points. We win. Okay, next round. Okay. Whew. All right. Here we go. This time for real. This is for real now. Artifact Lancia we need. We're going to take... Oh boy, this is tough. Now we have to side in. Let's see. Infinite Impermanence we need. Ghost Ogre we'll take. We need to get rid of all of our cards that help us draw. That's been working for us. Triple Tactics Talent is what we'll take. Let's see what happens. Game 3. They're siding. It's probably a very tough decision. I assume they're taking this as seriously as I am. Here we go. It's not a bad hand. It's okay. We don't have any interrupts, though. That's not good. They're going to end their turn. They must have bricked. This is great news. Okay. Can we play Tour Guide from the Underworld to bring forth another Tour Guide from the Underworld? We're going to send them to the grave for Muckraker from the Underworld. We're going to discard Broww. Tour Guide from the Underworld, we draw Dark World Accession. That's a good card. Activate Gates of Dark World. Banish Tour Guide. Discard Sillva. Sillva is summoned. That's 5,200 points. Now for Grapha Dragon. Nibiru, huh? Nibiru the Primal Being. We destroy Nibiru. Triple Tactics Talent. To look at the opponent's hand and shuffle one card into the deck. They still have nothing, and we want to make sure they continue to have nothing. Let's put Polymerization back in the deck. Let's attack. 3,500 points. And we'll save one card in our hand for a negate with Grapha Dragon. They did brick, by the way, based on what I saw just then. They know that I can turn my Nibiru token into attack mode, this turn, so they have to do something. The only move they might have, the only move they have might be to set and pass. Or they could be slow playing. They could be just waiting. They could be seeing if they can get me to resign out of annoyance for time. Nope, here they go. Okay, a hero lives. We're going to use Grapha Dragon. Okay, and they're going to summon Drawlin Lockbird in attack mode. So they can summon Super Starslayer Typhon Sky Crisis? Yes. Whose attack is not enough to defeat, but is going to destroy the token. Is going to destroy the Nibiru token. Excellent move by them. The only way to save themselves. Excellent. They set one. That's going to be the other fusion card they have. They've also set, I don't know. We're going to activate Dark World. Let's see. We're going to activate Gates of Dark World. We're going to banish Torgod from the Underworld and discard Reign-Beaux, who can't activate its effect. Stupid. We're going to attack. Okay. And we are going to leave Called by the Grave in our hand to discard for Grapha Dragon's effect. They draw. They've got 1,950 points. They surrender. That's a valid victory for us. High fives all around. Yeah, oh no, they poured the Gatorade on me. Okay, hopefully that settles it. So what's the lesson? The lesson is that 20-year-old archetypes can be viable. They can get you to diamond rank, some of them anyway. And we had a lot of fun doing it, and I hope everybody has a good day.